beautiful day it is. Quite cold in this part of Africa, but it is Friday, the 9th day in the month of July 2021. Welcome to Breakfast Central, reaching you live from the economic capital of the most populous nation in Africa, that is Nigeria. I am Oluchi Enobong.
Well, good morning, Africa. My name is Olisa Chukuma. It's a Friday. We are, delighted to be with you today. I'm bringing you the top stories, news from around the African continent. Yes, I've got my mug this morning to start with some breakfast tea. Well, it's Friday, yes, 9th of July, 2021. Let's start first with a look at the headlines for today. We'll talk about the UN mission calls for credible election in DR Congo.
And we'll be looking at Zambia, where the police are giving political rallies while they're being banned.
Also, African news and leadership. When, how, why, we'll get there. We're talking about on the program.
And we'll be going through the newspaper headlines for you today.
Also on the program, telling African stories through movies. One of my favorite things to do. Right here on Breakfast Central.
Kuna kallon News Central TV.
It is the Friday edition. Now, if you just tuned in, this is Breakfast Central, and we're asking you in a very humble manner to follow us on all socials. We're at News Central TV, and we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and our website is www.newscentraltv.africa. And you can check our website by going through what we have for you. All our content also there. But let's start the day or the program this morning by checking what the stories are on the front pages of the papers. All right, and the very first paper we're looking at is the front page newspaper this morning. And the front page newspaper has quite a lot to say. Now, coming from resignation, that's the main story we also have here. Resigned from the Senate. That's what it says on the front page of the paper. You can get more information on that from page 2 of the front page this morning. Also, still looking at the front page this morning, Kano rides to campus for bongs underprivileged school children. This is what it says on the front page this morning, and we're looking at educational sector right there, and they're talking about risking for education. We are fighting this battle against illiteracy, even if it means children crossing the river. That's what the principal of the public school is coming out to say. But you can go to the front page for more information. Risking for education. That's what it says.
All right, from Liberia, let's go to East Africa with Tanzania's the Citizen newspaper this morning to see what they have for us. All right, so it says Tanzania, Kenya's push for NTB's law. Says manufacturers from Tanzania and Kenya are pushing for the implementation of the East African Community Elimination of Non-Tariff Barriers. So that's the NTB's Non-Tariff Barriers Act of 2012 to enhance trade between the two countries, that's Kenya and Tanzania. Great news. All right. Talking about Bitcoin, there's one that talks about government sets up crypto advisory team in Tanzania. Don't forget, the new government of Samia Salah Suluhu actually took over. Took that the want to be looking into Bitcoin to see how they can profit from that. So government has set up a crypto advisory team in Tanzania, and onions give other crops a run for their money. Are they talking about Tanzania or Nigeria? I'm not sure, because these days I find it quite, onions is like gold to me these days. All right, so there you have it on the front page. Onions give other crops a run for their money, and I right here in Nigeria can confirm. And there's a picture of the president herself, Samia Hassan, challenges religious bodies on transparency. All of that on the front page of The Citizen in Tanzania.
Moving from The Citizens, we're going to the Daily Nation this morning, and the Daily Nation is all about Uhuru as Uhuru moves to stop NASA fallout. Yes, you have that information. That's a big one right there in the Daily Nation this morning. Also, the Daily Nation, page 4, it may seem Ruto's new strategy to beat the system. Ruto's new strategy to beat the system. That's on the upper right-hand part of the Daily Nation this morning. Still in the Daily Nation, you have a woman here, and the story says, "Turn yourself in, family acts fugitive officer." That's what it says here in the paper. You get this and much more from the Daily Nation this morning.
All right, so wrap it up and go straight to the Sowetan in South Africa this morning, and they are not wasting any time putting that. Yes, so there you have it. Inside Zuma's new home, Jacob Zuma is in prison, or what they call correctional facility. So it says joy among fellow inmates and wardens at the news of former president's arrival at Edcourt Correctional Services Center. So joy amongst the inmates already in that correctional facility. Wow, we hope he's safe. And it says no special treatment as Mushazoli is given his orange suit on first morning. So I hope they're not going to go for a big one, because these Sowetan guys can't really go deep. Having a picture of, former President Jacob Zuma in the prison orange wear.
Can you imagine that?
Well, I think they're getting close to what they're doing here on the front page. All right, so there you have it. And on the on the left, it talks about Superwoman in a Zibalani. I hope I pronounced that right in terms of whether it's Zulu. And at the top, Starry-Eyed Chiefs, Young Blood on Verge of History, all about Kaiser Chiefs and sports in South Africa, which is quite big. But the big story, inside Zuma's new home, which is prison, correctional facility in South Africa, rings through on the front page of the Sowetan.
Right, and now we have given you the major stories that we have in the newspaper, but let's bring you top stories from Africa. And we start with Central Africa, where the head of the UN Organization Stabilization Mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, that is MONUSCO, in the person of Bintou Keita, I beg your pardon, has called on the heads of the institution, political groups, and the civil society officials concerned to work together to reassure the country about the credible and independent organization of the 2023 electoral process.
Now, the mission's chief also stressed the need to organize inclusive and peaceful elections while taking care of the potentially dangerous consequences of a divisive debate on nationality. Now, she says the mission continues to implement a holistic strategy to address security challenges in the East, which includes the maintenance of a robust posture to counter threats to the civilian population.
Des institutions, formation politique et responsables de la société civile concernée à travailler ensemble pour rassurer le pays sur l'organisation crédible et indépendante du processus électoral de 2023. Je souligne également la nécessité d'organiser des élections inclusives et apaisées en prenant garde aux conséquences potentiellement dangereuses d'un débat clivant sur la nationalité. C'est ainsi que l'encouragement à la pleine mise en œuvre du plan d'action du gouvernement est l'objet actuel de mes bons offices. Military means alone cannot provide lasting solutions. Without the restoration of state authority, including local civil administration, a meaningful security sector reform plan, and the reconciliation of local communities, we are unlikely to see sustainable progress. The action taken must focus on the many social, economic, and governance needs, including in relation to managing the security apparatus, addressing the underlying challenges of land reform, and improving governance of the mining sector. La MONUSCO et l'équipe pays des Nations Unies travaillent étroitement avec le gouvernement pour développer l'ensemble des jalons et indicateurs qui structureront le plan de transition de la mission. C'est l'occasion pour les Nations Unies d'affiner les paramètres de son assistance aux priorités de paix et de développement du gouvernement et de prendre les mesures nécessaires pour réduire progressivement les effectifs de la mission selon des conditions claires. À cet égard, en ligne avec la stratégie conjointe pour le retrait progressif de la MONUSCO, la mission a cessé.
All right, still Breakfast Central is a Friday. You just heard from the head of missions there, Bintou Keita, on the situation in DRC, saying the military operation is not going to be holistic and inclusive.
All right, looking at the situation of things, and you know, Congo right now has been in a peculiar situation not long ago where they had the volcanic eruption also, and the people in that area are still trying to recoup from the situation at hand, coming back and seeing how they're preparing for the election that will come up in the shortest possible time in Congo.
All right, so continue to follow that story. DRC quite heavy these days when it comes to the news agenda for peace, and that's the mission, ahead of missions there from the United Nations. The country that's been to Keita speaking. She also gave us the French version and the English version. Still Breakfast Central. Up next, Africa Report.
All right, you're still watching Breakfast Central on News Central, and we are on to African Report. And we have joining us for this African Report our Zimbabwean correspondent, Lala. Welcome to Breakfast Central, Lala. What's the latest from Zimbabwe?
Thank you, Alichi. Wow, so the latest from Zimbabwe is obviously the death of one of Zimbabwe's top military personnel. And this is Lieutenant General Edzai Absalom Chakanyuka Chimonyo, and the general succumbed to cancer. This is according to the tweet that was released by the presidential spokesperson, George Charamba, yesterday morning. And the tweet further says that the general had been battling with cancer for a very, very long time. General Chimonyo is actually a celebrated top army in Zimbabwe, and he's got a lot of accolades on his belt, and he has saved the country during the liberation struggle, and he continued to save the country in different brigades and army headquarters, you know, and he was later on, I think around 2008, he was then transferred to the Ministry of Home Affairs, where he became ambassador to Tanzania until December 2017. And obviously, you know, there are talks, and it is also believed that General Chimonyo played a prominent and a very crucial role during the events of November 2017 that saw the removal of long-serving president, the late President Robert Gabriel Mugabe. And from that time, after the ouster of President Robert Mugabe, General Chimonyo assumed the current role that he held until his death. And obviously he assumed this role after he took over from General Valerio Sivanda, who had now taken over as commander of the defense forces. And General Sivanda also had taken that post after the current vice president, Constantino Chiwenga, became vice president. Well, you know, everyone is mourning. His family is mourning. The nation is mourning. His friends, his comrades are mourning his death. But not everyone is mourning. Some people are actually celebrating. So his death has left quite a divided legacy in the country. For example, the former cabinet minister, Jonathan Moyo, who is currently in exile. He was forced into exile after the events, obviously, of November 2017. He tweeted, and I quote, "The curtain has fallen on the butcher of Balangwe, Zimbabwe National Army Commander General Edzai Chimonyo, one of the most cruel Gugurawundi commanders who used to callously boast in public about the 5 brigade atrocities and committed under his command in Matebeleland South." That was a very,
Yeah. Yeah, quite strong comments, strong comments from him. But we're interested, quite keen to know. Yes, the country is in mourning. Some for, some against. It will be divided because it looks like he was quite a controversial figure, going with all the liberation struggles he must have had with Mugabe back in the early days. But I'm keen to find out, what about the mood from the presidency? Emerson Mnangagwa, has there been comments, from him, because that's still the serving army general in this administration.
Obviously, the mood from the president and maybe the whole presidium is they are mourning, because this is their comrade. This is someone that they were with during the liberation struggle for the independence of the nation. So they are mourning. This is someone that they've been with before 1980. Even after 1980, even the Second Republic, when the current president took over from the late Robert Mugabe, General Chimonyo was still one of his trusted allies, one of his trusted people by his side, and that's why he was accorded the status of being the army commander when Emerson Mnangagwa took over.
All right, Lala, thank you very much for the latest. This one, the passing of General Chimonyo, quite a huge figure in the army structures in Zimbabwe. We'll be coming back to you for the latest again, Lala. Thank you very much for coming on Breakfast Central.
Thank you. My pleasure. Bye.
All right, it's a sad situation, but it comes to mixed feeling. I mean, some people are quite excited that the death of a man, not a young man, but some other people on the other hand are quite sad because he obviously was very important and he took crucial roles in the history of Zimbabwe.
Playing quite a good one alongside the likes of Mnangagwa and former president, now late President Mugabe, in the struggle for liberation of Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, clearly, you look at the last 30 years, yes, the Mugabe generations and the freedom fighters, you had that tweet just as she talked about, she quoted about somebody calling him the most brutal. bush fighter there was. But history will be the best judge at the end of it all. At the end of it all. But we expect perhaps quite a state session from Emerson Mnangagwa, clearly seeing the general as an ally. Right, accountable leadership remains one of the biggest challenges when it comes to development of Africa as a whole. Now, over the years, leaders in Africa have not always responded perhaps effectively to the needs of the continent. But there is hope in the rising generation of youth who could play a critical role in building accountability for successful economic transformation, representation, and that important phrase, public service. Now, the urgency of this effort is not lost on the youth, as they may have the most to lose if solutions are not enacted. Now, according to Brookings' report, by 2030, it says 375 million young people in Africa will reach working age. Now, a population equivalent to the combined populations of Canada and the United States. And yet, the youth are sidelined. When will the youths take their rightful position in leadership, you may ask? Well, joining us this morning is a very, very important person. But before we bring him in, it makes people wonder, because if you look at youth's participation in leadership or even in the political sphere in Africa, it cuts across not just Nigeria, it cuts across other African countries as well. And it makes people wonder, as I speak to you, if we walk on the street and we meet 10 youths, out of the 10, you have about 6 or 7 who are nonchalant about who or where to cast your vote. Yeah, so it's beyond the voting, because that's the democratic process, which is still in Africa, is still quite emerging. It's not really solidified in different places. What we can establish is that 75% of Africa's population is youth. You look at Nigeria, 200 million, and you look at the projections we just talked about by 2030, it means they'll be of working age. So if we have people, of youth age, or people who are young, who are supposed to be in their prime, not taking part in, or not allowed, as they say, in political decisions, look at Zambia. We just talked about Zambia, Mugabe, before he was ousted, at what age? You look at who's taking over. You look at the generals, look at the allies of those who were back in there. You look at Nigeria, you look at who's in charge right now. So these are the discussions we'll be having when it comes to the leadership in Africa as it relates to youth. Right, and we are still here on Breakfast Central, and we will be taking you to another part of the continent, talking about Zambia, where we have this report. right, still Breakfast Central. Now let's take you to Zambia, where the Zambian Police Service spokesperson informed Esther Nwata Katongo, spokeswoman to be more precise, says the recent suspension of political parties from not holding political rallies and roadshows by the Electoral Commission for Zambia is still in effect, adding that political parties found wanting will face the law accordingly.
Now, Katongo has therefore appealed to officers that have been deployed around the country, that's countrywide, to be alert and ensure that no political party holds rallies and roadshows. Now, recall that the Electoral Commission of Zambia suspended campaign rallies and roadshows, well, as they are super readers of the COVID-19 pandemic.
All right, now to give us more insight from Zambia, we have our correspondent Lydia Makina. Welcome to the show, Lydia, and quickly tell us what is the true state of things there in Zambia as regards the political rallies and, not holding their forums, as they say.
Well, it's 7 days to go to election. So recently, you know that the Electoral Commission of Zambia had suspended political rallies and the road shows. So currently, after the political parties, actually, they were on break during the barrier for KK and everything, so everything was just quiet. So now after they have resumed to start doing the political party, that's why Esther Katongo, the spokesperson for police, had issued a statement to say that all political parties that would take part in political rallies would be dealt with, because this suspension of a political party is still in place, and they had to make sure that they adhere to the rules, and nobody should, or political parties should not do the political party campaigns and everything. So currently, political party rallies are on suspension due to COVID-19 adherence that was issued from the Electoral Commission of Zambia. And even so, the campaign that is taking place recently is just on social media and the door-to-door campaign, which they had advised them to do. And we also saw that political leaders now coming together in unity, because recently we saw that His Excellency Dr. Edgar Changwa and Hakainde Hichilema had met at the funeral of KK, where they had interacted and just to show unity for One Zambia, One Nation. And despite their political party members having a dispute, but they had shown unity among them. But for now, all political parties rallies are still being on suspension until further notice. So we only have 37 days to go to the general election, and no political party rallies.
Well, it's no fault of the government, looking at the fact that they are trying their best to ensure the non-spread of the COVID-19 during this pandemic. But really, this is also almost first of its kind. Political rallies being put on hold. What is the reaction of the political parties ahead of this August 12 general election? You just said now that it is 37 days ahead of us. Is there any update on when the ban might be lifted at this point?
They haven't said anything yet as of now, but even though their political party members are still pushing to be given a chance at least to campaign, and then yet they haven't said anything as of now. So we don't have a date when they can resume or anything to it. And moreover, just 37 days. So we see that the chances of them resuming to do a political rally campaign is actually very low, because there are just few days left. So all the campaign that are doing is just on social media, regardless that all political party members are giving them hard time for them to resume so that they can campaign freely, but nothing as of now.
All right, Lydia, the police and the Electoral Commission in Zambia are saying no rallies for anybody, any political party, any divide because of COVID-19. But the elections will still have to hold on August 12th. So what are the measures for safety put in place? Because the spread of COVID-19 is still there, so we cannot rally, but we have to still vote. People have to vote. So what are the measures being put in place by the Commission and the government to ensure safety and guidance during the elections because of COVID-19?
The guidance that have been put in place is that the people still need, they will still have to vote through social media, and like even online registration were placed there that they can still do their voting on media platforms, and as well as ensuring that the hand sanitizer and other things are being provided. And they're also ensuring that police are all over on the street to make sure that people do not move in a cloudy, and also that they make sure that everybody practice social distance. So we see that police really, they are actually working hand in hand with the Electoral Commission of Zambia to ensure that people are safe from this COVID-19. So these are the measures that have been placed as at now to ensure that the social distance, and the people are also given the chance to showcase, or to campaign through through a social media platform, and they can also do their voting on media platform as well. So there's a platform that has been placed in place, and everyone has an access to cast their vote through on phone, so to say.
Wow,
Right.
online voting in Zambia. That is sweet.
First of its kind.
All right.
Thank you so much, Lydia. Thank you so much, Lydia, a News Central correspondent from Zambia. We will, of course, keep in touch with you as we get closer to the election. We have less than over 30 days away from the election, August 12th.
37 days, yeah.
37 days to be precise. Thank you so much, Lydia, for the information.
All right, still Breakfast Central on News Central. Coming up next on the program today. Well, we're talking about these steps to improving your health and wellness. And no fans allowed at Tokyo Olympic Games venues.
And we'll be telling the African stories through movies.
News Central TV.
Right, so you're still watching Breakfast Central on News Central. Now, don't forget you can follow us on our social media, and I say all, News Central TV. And also wondering what I'm doing here. Yes, I'm here because Sam Dandy has decided to take over the seat in the studio. Meanwhile, Oluchi is busy still having her breakfast at some corner, not too far from me. Oluchi, is it hot? All right, just stand by. Right, Sam Dandy, good morning to you. Today's entertainment, and you really have quite a charming guest, I have to say. So tell us all about it, Sam. Take it away.
All right, so let me be honest first. Let me admit that, in fact, it feels good to be seated here, at least here at Olisa. But yeah, of course, I do have a guest with me in the studio. I have award-winning Nigerian movie actor and producer, Temi Tokwe Tedela. And we're going to be discussing telling the African stories through movies. Now, I'm delighted to have you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so I know you have a film. You are in a film that's dropping today.
Yeah.
But let's not rush. Let's go down memory lane, right? So in 2013, your breakout role in a movie titled A Mile from Home.
Yeah.
You know, that gave you 5 wins, 4 nominations, you know, and an EMVCA for Best Actor. Tell me, what about that story? What about that film, you know, was so important? What resonated with so many people and yourself?
That's an interesting question. When I read the script, at the end of the day, it's just a story about redemption. You know what I mean? Sometimes you make mistakes, you go down routes in life you didn't think you would go down through. Different things happen to you, and you make certain choices that lead you down a path that almost destroys your life. And there was an opportunity for this guy to take an alternative route, and he did. And you know, he came out sort of a winner. It was scarred, but he came out a winner. So I guess that resonated with people. And on top of that, it was, you know, like an action type of film, and it was done pretty decently at the time. So I think people just loved the entirety of the film and the performance.
Let me ask you. So it was your breakout film. quite right, 2013. And then you won. How did that feel? How did that feel winning?
It was surreal. It was surreal because the film was just us coming together to do something, and it was, I didn't expect it. You get what I mean? So to date, I'm really grateful because it really took me on an interesting path. It's taken me on an interesting path.
Right.
So yeah.
So of course that has passed, and of course you've been in a couple of movies, a ton of movies in fact up until date. You've been in Country Hard, you've been in Ojikokoro, you've been in a couple of films. What do you think has changed in Hollywood between times like 2013 and between now 2021? What do you think has changed?
I think generally as filmmakers we're getting a bit more daring. We're trying to cultivate the taste palettes of the audiences. I mean, people say that people like comedy a lot, and that is true. I like comedy. Everybody likes to have a good laugh, but we're venturing into territories that are not particularly comedy.
Right.
We're doing some action, we're doing some sci-fi, we're doing some thrillers, and some supernatural horror type movies, and it's just in a bid to have a more robust film industry that different taste buds can have something to eat, so to speak.
Quickly, still talking about the industry, what are you expecting to see change? What more are you looking forward to?
Well, I'll just hope for a bit of more structure on different levels, both in terms of welfare packages for performers and crew members, actors, everybody, and just also like structure in terms of like distribution.
Right.
How what we create eventually gets to the audiences. In terms of cinema houses, transparency in how numbers are computed, and just many other things. But I think we're on the road. And
right, I agree, we're on the road.
Yeah, I think we're on the road.
Let me ask now, in recent times we've seen Hollywood try to adapt many African stories. In fact, one of the biggest is Black Panther, talking about Africa. Now, in fact, Disney did reveal that they have plans to do an animation, talking about the futuristic Africa. Now, what do you think about this? Do you think they're in some form exploiting Africa, or do you think it's a way to tell our story?
I mean, what system of I don't know, is this system of government? I can't remember. I don't know the term to use, but what is the world built on? It's built on capitalism, and largely that is really about who has the money,
right.
so to speak, to make things happen. You know what I mean? So that is happening. Is it exploitation? Maybe, I guess it is in some shape or form, but maybe we also, African media conglomerate, should also put their money where their mouth is, in a certain way. But that being said, I think that we're gradually telling, those stories that we tell African stories. Because also a question that I ask is, what is an African story? You get what I mean? And okay, what was the origin of film? Where did film come from? Like if you really want to trace the roots, the foundation of, or the history of film and cinema, where did it come from and all. So if this thing originated in a certain place, maybe during the World War I or World War II, and film, you get what I mean? And then now we're making films. Are we exploiting that medium? So there are many stories, and they're just the way I look at these things and all. But yeah, we're telling the African stories.
That's right. That's right. Olisa, I think Olisa has a question. Olisa, do you have a question for our guest?
Of course, sure, Sam. Yeah, you've got quite an amazing guest, actor, producer. Tedela, quite an honor to get you right here on Breakfast Central. All right, so we'll take a quick break before I give that question, because it has to do with the movie that is dropping today. So just hold on. All right, you're still watching Breakfast Central on News Central, and we've got, multiple actor and award-winning writer, producer, Bintou Keita in the studio, right there, the main studio with Sam Dandy. Oh my God, Sam Dandy, enjoy it.
I know, I stole your job.
All right, Bintou Keita, quickly, your film drops today, that's Finding Hobby, starring the likes of Ade Laole, Kehinde Bankole. Tell us about, the character you play and what we should expect from this movie.
I play a pastor in this film. Yeah.
Interesting.
And to be quite honest, sometimes I really don't like. I like playing roles that, because I mean I'm quite a calm human being. So when it comes to work, I like to play stuff that is a bit like far from that. But so this particular film, when I got the script, I'm like, oh gosh, this is something that wouldn't be so difficult to do, so to speak. All due respect, but I really enjoyed working on it. It's a romantic comedy that I think would resonate with people, especially in Africa, where there's a lot of pressure on women to do this, even men to get married, to do this, to do that. It's a really interesting take on that subject matter, and it's just going to be fun, really fun watch. So yeah, Finding Obi out today. Watch.
All right, so that's a rom-com for me to catch. I love rom-coms, and
You do?
it's my favorite genre.
You don't look like it, but
I would have
okay.
thought you like Avengers, but okay.
Yeah, apart from that, love, happiness, happy endings,
Okay,
and even if I gets it, he gets it.
Right.
All right, so back to you, Sam.
All right, so lastly, let me ask you, what's your big dream, right? You've had movies that premiered all across the world, right? Canada. What's your big dream? What are you yet to do?
What am I yet to do? Funnily enough, what I'm yet to do is not particularly in movies. But for movies, I mean, I'd like to work globally, really and truly, work with, some of the world's acclaimed directors. That would be really, really cool to do. And, I think it's going to happen sooner than later.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. But I'll also like to record an album, actually.
Music?
Yeah, I'd like to record an album.
Wait, hold up. You do music?
In my spare time, yes.
In your spare time?
Yes.
When did that start? I have so many questions in my head.
No, I mean, that started a long time ago. So in my spare time, I play the guitar, I play piano, I compose stuff that, never really goes anywhere, maybe stays on my phone or my computer. So I'm just thinking, why not share this with the world?
Okay.
It may not be perfect, but yeah.
I might just be your first big fan. All right, thank you so much for bringing your breakfast with us.
No problem at all.
All right. Please stick around with us until the show.
Thank you very much, Sam. That was quite an awesome guest you brought us. I can't wait, to watch the movie and also see all the reviews about it. Thank you very much, Sam. Well, we're not done yet with the program on the show today because we have more to come. Still on the program. Yes, Tokyo Olympics. No fans allowed at Olympic venues. Right, still Breakfast Central on News Central. I'm still stuck here for now. Well, let's talk about physical fitness, and it's not the sole business of being healthy. Now, being healthy means being mentally and emotionally fit. Now, being healthy should be part of your overall lifestyle, and this can help prevent chronic diseases and long-term illnesses. Well, now feeling good about yourself and taking care of your health, and it's quite important. Self-esteem is quite a big one, also image. Now, our guest is Dr. Kelechi Okoro, a health and wellness expert. For some people, maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be quite an overwhelming challenge. Now, I think I'll cue straight to Oluchi to take over from here with our health and wellness expert. Oluchi, over to you.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much, Elisa. Now, I know we have Dr. Kelechi Okoro, who's here, and she's a health trainer, as it were. Good morning, Dr. Kelechi. Now, for some people, maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be an overwhelming challenge. Why is this so?
Hello, guys. I'm here.
Yes, Dr. Kelechi, we can hear you loud and clear. Just go on.
Okay. I haven't heard any question. Good morning.
Okay, Dr. Kelechi, good morning. We're here with you. We have Olisa, you have myself, Oluchi, and we also have some Dandy here. We're asking you about why it is a challenge to maintain a healthy lifestyle for a lot of people. Why is this so much of a challenge?
Okay, basically, the reason why it's a challenge because we do not know exactly what total wellness or health is. I mean, if you do not even know what you're trying to achieve, then how would you achieve it? When you talk about health, you're talking about a state of complete emotional, physical, and social well-being. So some people just take care of their physical, leaving their emotional and social well-being. And then, of course, we have to take note of lack or reduced awareness of all medical illnesses, basically. So when you do not even know about these things, then how would you address them?
All right.
People do not even know how serious or how healthy it is. Just water, taking water every day does to you. And then just eating healthy foods, natural foods, less processed foods, more organic and fiber foods. Even your mental status, keeping it in check every single day. A lot of people don't know how that even helps your overall wellness. I mean, so this basically is the issue.
Right.
And then also, let's not forget access to healthcare, affordability of healthcare,
Right.
and the willingness to seek healthcare, especially in a place like Nigeria.
Now I'm curious, Dr. Kelechi, let me ask you, right? Does wellness have a strong impact on combating depression?
Sure. I just talked about the mental status. If you do not if you're not mentally sound, of course you're going to have problems, getting your mental. I don't know if you can hear me because I'm feeling a little static here.
Dr. Kelechi, because of time, I wish we can keep you more, but we are definitely going to bring you back on Breakfast Central this morning. Thank you so much for being here with us, our health entertainer, Kelechi, to be precise. Thank you once again.
All right, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. All right, that's it for now, but we will head over to Olisa. Olisa, I think you will be giving us some information in the world of sports, even if it's just for thinking we keep it. We have sports updates for you right after this.
All right, from health and wellness to sports, which clearly also promotes it. Quite quickly, no fans allowed at the Olympics this year. That's the verdict now from the Olympic organizers and the Olympic government. It was confirmed at the meeting yesterday at the capital of Japan in Tokyo. So it's a big blow for the Olympic Games that there will be no fans allowed in Tokyo, Japan, especially for the athletes. They've been training all their lives to participate, in these games, and now they're not going to be having fans. It will be a big blow. We hear that there will be restrictions in terms of bars and restaurants not to serve alcohol until a certain time in the country, and venues in Tokyo and other areas near the capital would not be allowed to hold events with fans during the games. It's a big blow. We heard that COVID-19 infections are rising in the country, but it's not far again. July 23rd is when it starts the Olympic 2020. Well, in 2021. Away from the Olympics, let's talk about some tennis. Now, we saw two games yesterday, women's games. World number one, Ashley Barty, she's having a party. Now, she's in the final. She defeated her opponent, Angelica Kerber, in straight sets. You have to say 6-3, 7-6 to go to the next round. She'll be taking on a lady from Czech Republic called Karolina Pliskova, who also had a victory over second seed Aryna Sabalenka, 5-7, 6-4, 6-4, which means that we're going to have the first seed against the 8th seed in the women's finals of Wimbledon. So there you have it. Ashley Barty knocks out Kerber and Pliskova knocks out Sabalenka. Those are the matches we're expecting in the finals. Good luck to those two women. Today, when it comes to the men, let's check out the semi-final fixtures for the men's in the world of tennis. Now, the likes of Novak Djokovic will take on Denis Shapovalov of Canada, while Matteo Berrettini will take on Hubert Hurkacz of that side, Poland. So good luck to those two when it comes to the world of tennis. And away from all that tennis, big news for Nigeria. Yes, if you love Ogenekaro Etebo, yes, he's a Nigerian footballer, and he will be joining Watford FC, a newly promoted team when it comes to this season in the Premier League. He was played for Stoke City, he's played for Nigeria Super Eagles, he's still a Super Eagles player, he's played for Galatasaray on loan, he's gone around, but he'll be playing for Watford in the coming season. We heard he passed the medical yesterday, so we're expecting the big news later today. And also, away from football quickly, in the world of basketball, it is now 2-0 because the Phoenix Suns have defeated their opponents, the Milwaukee Bucks in Game 2, which means Chris Paul and Devin Booker are leading up there 118-108. So bad one for Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo, who we know has got Nigerian heritage. But there will be lots to come later when it comes to the world of sports on In the Game.
Right, thank you so much, Elisa. But before we wrap up, let's tell you some of the programs that will be coming up later today on News Central.
You can catch Zero to Launch at 12:30 p.m. West African time.
We can catch African headlines at 2 p.m. West African time.
And at 3:30 p.m. West African time, we have Sports on the Go.
All right, I guess that wraps it on Friday for breakfast and to the News Central. Quite a big one. I wonder how Sam is ending up wrapping up the Friday end of the week on the couch. Like, who does that?
You know,
I'm super excited. Come on, look at that.
Thank you so much for joining us, Sam. Thank you for being in the studio with us. It's a TGIF. I know you have plans already. You're itching to go and rock it. Let the hair loose. But to everyone watching, thank you on behalf of the production team. We say, do have yourself a lovely weekend.
And shout outs to our actor who came today. I want to see him. Can you just wave? Bye-bye. Bye-bye to the lad. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye. Thank you. All right. There you have it. Breakfast Central, News Central. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
Adama.